Time now for us to get our guests into the picture this morning. And we have joining the conversation, Nanaya Sapong, of course. He is with the Alad Treba team. And we also have Remy Edmondson, who is with the CPP, joining, PPP, I beg your pardon, joining the conversation this morning. Gentlemen, a very good morning to you.
Good morning,
Ben. Good morning, sweetie.
Good morning, sweetie. How are you?
I'm fabulous.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So let's get into your 2 minutes max take on any topical issue that you want to reflect on. Nanaya Sapong, let's start with you.
Nanaya, the way you're smiling this morning.
He's going to Parliament, so you should let him.
Really?
He's going to Parliament?
Yes. You don't know. I saw his posters all over, and I don't know
Which constituency?
Dominic constituency.
Dominic, yeah. Oh, so you're going head to head with Michael Quay Jr.
That's right.
And who's the NDC?
NDC is being represented by Faustina Nkrumah.
Okay, that's the constituencies I see.
Yes.
What I'm going to put you to the test here. What do you think realistically are your chances? Dominic is a constituency that
yes.
has.
You know, there have been. It's quite open this time around.
It is.
We've had yes. Predominantly, it's been an MPP seat since the constituency was carved out, and after Professor Michael Quay's 8 years, Adjoa have also had it for about 8 years. She still retains quite some support, and now that she's not in the race, I mean, it's quite open. I mean, that's a fact on the ground. So we all have to work hard, and given the economic situation and people's disaffection with the government, in fact, most people actually don't want to vote, and this is a fact across the board. Yes, so we all are still doing a lot of talking, a lot of house to house, a lot of engagement to convince people why they need to come out and vote for us. Yeah.
Okay. Before you get into your 1 minute thing, I just saw this as well, which I'd like to, because you're talking about promises and this government. The president says he's delivered 80% of their manifesto promises. As both of you talk about your thoughts, maybe you can sneak in thoughts on that. Who's going first? You?
Okay, I'll do that. So I'll first start by, I want to just have some good news to share with Ghanaians, with the country. On behalf of the PPP, I want to thank them all for their support. Over the weekend on Sunday in Casablanca, I was elected the new vice president for West Africa, for the Africa Liberal Network.
Wow.
It's a coalition
Congratulations.
of political parties that,
Congratulations.
the PPP, we subscribe to the liberal ideology. So the ALN, Africa Liberal, is a network of political parties all over Africa who subscribe to that ideology. So my term will be for 2 years, and I'm looking forward to work with. In Ghana, it's PPP and then the LPG. We're the two liberal parties in Ghana, yes. So we'll be working together to, help influence our politics and help member parties across the country grow, the continent actually, and then help build Africa into what we want. All right. Yeah. So, but on that take,
Why do you disagree?
I disagree so much. I mean, it's you see, it's one thing to talk. I don't know. They ask the other Ghanaian if they feel these manifesto promises. It's now down to bread and butter issues. And look, trust me, I'm sure you are a journalist, you talk to people. If you go to the ground, people are so disappointed. And we are not talking members of the opposition. We are talking members that hardcore members of the ruling MPP, who are just so disappointed and regret bringing their own government into power. And what they are saying is that they don't even want to vote. They don't even want to vote for their own. You know what? I got a call before I traveled. I got a call from a woman who told me she was a former organizer of the MPP, and she has organized people to go and vote for, guess who, each other. But they don't have a parliamentary candidate. Now I put a phone number on my posters, so people call. So she wanted us to meet so that they can discuss how they can give me their votes. This is the reality on the ground.
Wow.
This government has completely disappointed all Ghanaians, including their own people. And so I don't expect him, well, he may be saying that he's got a few days, about 30 days to go. Yes, he will be saying this to feel good. I saw yesterday he started inaugurating a statue of himself. As they say, he better does it himself before he goes, in case nobody decides to do it for him when he leaves. So I don't believe in those claims of having fulfilled 80. We are not feeling it, and we don't want promises, we want reality.
All right. Nanaya.
Well, thank you very much. When was the last time you went to the market?
Me,
Yeah.
personally,
Yes.
maybe about a little over a month.
Oh, that's too long. Should he?
No, I haven't been in a while.
You know the price of a crate of egg now?
60 cedis.
Tell me.
It's now about 70, 75.
Really?
cedis. Yes.
It's got to 70?
Yes. That is how
But
much.
you know there are different types.
Yeah.
There are different sizes.
talking
Different,
about-
so what are you talking about?
So which 60 cedi size were you talking about?
The last time I bought a crate of egg, I got it for 60 cedis.
Yes,
I
the
just
normal
can't
crate of
see
egg
it.
is now 70, 75.
But you know why I'm asking? Usually when you go, there
Those-
are smaller
the
sizes,
ones-
there are bigger sizes.
The ones-
Sometimes even they will tell you the brown and the
Yes,
white.
the brown.
That's why I'm
so
asking
I'm talking
you.
about the average price of
a crate of eggs.
egg now. And I just want to say that the bread and butter issue is what Ghanaians are looking at now. I mean, with all the struggles we go through, if we are not able to afford food on our table, if we are not able to afford water, it means that things are really getting tougher. And if you've been buying bread recently, you will notice that the bread you used to buy for 15 Ghana cedis
Yeah.
is now 25 cedis.
It's 30 cedis and
No, I'm coming. Depends on the area you are in.
Yeah.
All right? My area, the bread I was buying for 15 cedis is now 30 cedis.
Yeah.
And if you mistakenly bypass the vans and walk into the mats, all right, you are going to buy it for 32 to 35 Ghana cedis. And that is how expensive bread has become. I have a place I buy my favorite cocoa. Now the cup of the cocoa and that sliced bread with the kushi, I can't remember what I'm saying.
we all know Kosi.
You know, in it would now it's now in the ranges of 20 to 25 cedis. And so how would the ordinary Ghanaian feed? I mean, well, yesterday when I was having a discussion, somebody told me that we the Ghanaians are the cause and that they were making a whole lot of philosophical analysis. But at the end of the day, I think that something ought to be done to be able to bring bread and butter to the table of the ordinary Ghanaians. Things are getting too expensive lately. It's affecting everybody.
And it's showing even in our inflationary rates in the
is
last 2
affecting
months, we've seen upticks.
everybody.
You may say it's minimal, 0.7%, but still, it's
Brother.
for you see, when we have these conversations, we are not having them mostly for middle class or middle upper
No,
class
for the
people.
ordinary Ghanaian.
Because those who feel it the most
Is-
are those who are earning how much. And you see, in the same country, we have to conclude this and get to the papers, but in the same country, right, we say there's something called minimum wage, where the tripartite committee will sit down and fix. But while I'm not mentioning any company's name, some of those who sweep the streets and the rest, ask them how much they earn in a month. And some of them have
Yes.
backlogs
Yeah.
for how long.
months.
And some of these malls, okay, malls from other countries, again, I'm not mentioning, sometimes I don't want to
No,
stereotype.
they pay between 800 to 1,000. Some less.
Some people are
500.
taking 300, 400, 500.
It's,
And we are not even enforcing the minimum wage so that people are paid well.
you see, the point is that you have made the laws. You are not able to enforce it because you have not created the jobs. You have not created it. It's just like when people talk about rent.
But wait,
controls and other
they mentioned
Yeah.
they've created over 2 million.
So, Benji,
Government says it has created
Just on
over 2
paper.
million
So,
jobs.
so
Some will even tell you as many as 3 million jobs.
yeah. So when Alan made up his mind that he would be creating 3 million jobs, you know what he did? He went further to create an app to gather the sectorial and industrial areas where jobs are needed and where vacancies are. So he created the 3MJ. So if you Google 3MJ, 3 million jobs, it opens up and then it gives you that Alan Tremantin app that you're able to upload your CV. Now, the main brain behind it is for us to be able to gather the data, look at the avenues available and push it. Create that incentive for these companies. So if you look into our youth agenda, what we'll be doing is that we would give opportunities to these companies to recruit fresh graduates to recruit people who have stayed home for so very long, and then we will give them both physical and non-physical benefits to be able to help them to expand their businesses. If you are not expanding these businesses, and you are saying you've created jobs, I mean, oh mami, we will see who will be hungry, and that is the reality we are facing today.
Is it possible that these jobs have actually been created and we don't know the people who are benefiting from?
If the jobs are created, sweetie, you belong to a community, you belong to a society, you belong to a home. Yeah. You would hear, because definitely somebody will get a job. Somebody will be recruited. Somebody who has been sending you WhatsApp messages and asking you, sweetie, how are you? And when you mistakenly respond, I am fine, then the person will go like, oh, Minya, you know, today I have not eaten. Can you send me something? Those messages will stop. You see?
Does it ever really stop?
Let me tell you this. It says if the fundamentals
it
are...
It is that if you had 100 people who would be reaching out, probably it would fall to about 70.
Yes, it will reduce. Okay. But has it reduced? No, it keeps increasing. So if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange would expose you.
Okay, guys, I think we should get into the papers now.
Let me start. I like to start. Okay, so I have the New Republic and the Anchor. Let me start with the New Republic. A tale of two one-term presidents. Oh, the comparisons. Trump is back. Is JM coming? That's on the front page. Energy sector in debt crisis. There is no constitutional crisis, Alban Bagbin says. And highways workers in major revolt. So let me get into it straight away. From presidency yours for the taking, Chala chief tells Mahama. Highways workers in major revolt. So that is the Ghana Highways Authority. Let me just get a bit of this. In an unprecedented display of resistance, employees of the Ghana Highway Authority are on the verge of a nationwide industrial action threatening to cripple Ghana's road sector over the contested implementation of the National Roads Authority Act 2024. And the simmering crisis, which has been brewing for weeks, has now escalated into a critical point as workers issue stark ultimatums to government officials. Just to give us a bit of context on what that is. So a tale of two one-term presidents. I like this one. Trump is back. Is JM coming back? Is a question I'm posing to you, gentlemen. It's economy. Okay, the wording here. It's economy stupid. I don't want to get into this. Kamala falls Baumia's neck. So it looks like everybody's trying to skew Trump's victory in their own favor. The NDC says it means JM is coming back. NPP says it means Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is coming. Nobody knows. Supreme Court's ruling on vacant parliamentary seats questions legal precedent, Chachuchi Kata says. The Ghanaian Supreme Court's recent involvement in resolving parliamentary vacancies has ignited a wide-ranging debate, soliciting opinions from legal experts, constitutional scholars, activists, and public at large. In the midst of these discussions, Chachuchi Kata, a highly esteemed legal practitioner and statesman, has criticized the Supreme Court's decision regarding Speaker Bagbin's announcement of 4 vacant seats. And his examination raised concerns about, that is Chachuchi Kata's examination, raised concerns about potential deviations from established legal precedents that interferes with the boundaries of the Supreme Court's authority and the implications of the ruling on parliamentary autonomy and constitutional interpretation. Because of this story, I want to skip to where we have Alban Bagbin's speech yesterday, just to give us a bit. We will get into that later on the show this morning, so you want to stay with us. That story is on page 14, and I'll get to it right away. There is no constitutional crisis. Bagbin flares the Chief Justice. So, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has strongly rejected efforts by the executive and judiciary to evidently weaken the authority of the legislature. And speaking to the press yesterday ahead of the recall of Parliament today, the Speaker voiced his opposition to these actions, stating, quote, "It is becoming increasingly apparent that the judiciary and the executive are seemingly collaborating to diminish Parliament." And yesterday, when you listened to the Speaker, I think that's the last story I'll do from the New Republic. Gentlemen, it sounds to me as if the Speaker has invited all of us onto this intellectual playground, because We are listening to so many arguments, and everybody is arguing in the favor of whatever they think is right, their own interpretations of the Constitution. And he cites many instances where the same Article 97 Clause 1G had been interpreted in the past, and nobody had any issue with it. He cited instances where members of Parliament who are supposed to be loyal to Parliament are running to the Supreme Court, are running to the judiciary. The question on my mind is, what is the bigger argument now? We've listened to the Speaker. He didn't hold back. He said everything that he wanted to say. What arguments beat his at this point?
Personally, no argument beats what the Speaker said. All right. Now, what is happening in Parliament is this Adidi saying, you understand? When one party had so many MPs and that losing one MP had no effect on them, they were very okay with whichever interpretation was given to this article. All right? But now that it has an effect on their stance in Parliament, then they have issues with this interpretation. This is black and white.
Okay.
You understand? And the Supreme Court, when this whole brouhaha came, Alan made a press statement, and he said that, listen, he doesn't have any issue with the orders that have been given by the Supreme Court. But if these orders have to be implemented or executed, it only can be executed when there is a sitting of Parliament. All right? And the NPP walked out of Parliament. Now you've recalled Parliament. There is a ruling in Parliament, and that one would have to stay until Parliament is able to take a decision, a binding decision. And so the question is, where would you go and sit today? Are you going to sit on the minority side, or are you going to sit on the majority side? Let us be real with ourselves. Okay. There are precedents that have been set. We all know. There is a substantive issue in Supreme Court now. What is happening to that substantive issue? If indeed the Supreme Court was interested in resolving what is happening, and if it is not the issue of power struggle and interference, by now, that interpretation would have been out, because it's very critical. But we leave it, wanting Parliament to do what? To execute the order first before we go on to the main case?
Okay. Vote for me. Remy?
Yes, I think the biggest takeaway from his press conference yesterday was, he sounded alarm about the need to protect the separation of powers. Because, yes, from his perspective, it's rather unfortunate that for him to have said, which is quite worrying and serious for me, that the executive and the judiciary are actually colluding to weaken legislature. And so for me, for all Ghanaians, right-wing Ghanaians, yes, it's. I like one thing he said was that this for him is about, he's trying to preserve this for future generations, and I think that's very important. All of us have to be quite concerned about. There was a reason why the framers of the Constitution framed it this way, so that the idea was that each of these arms would serve as a check on each other, and so we begin to have the situation where one arm seems to be having some undue influence or wanting to exert some undue influence, then it's quite worrying for our democracies, the future of our democracy for the years to come. Yes, it's rather worrying that, like my brother said, one party, when it suited them well a few years ago, were very okay for this kind of ruling, but now the tables have turned, and I think it's also time that we look at the nature of our politics. Our partisan politics is really, really hurting us. We have MPs going to Parliament, and then the business of Parliament is not done based on what the interests of the people who put them into Parliament want and what will be in their interest. It is all about being whipped into line to just follow a particular party's agenda. And so if the government says, let's push through this bill, regardless of the implications on citizens, regardless of the implications on their own constituents who voted for them, they all just toe the line and nobody questions anything.
Right.
And that for me this is not democracy we are practicing.
Okay, thank you for your reflections. Let's get into other newspapers now. Nile Sapon?
Yes, so I have the Daily Guide. And the first one I see here is, I will establish tomato factory at Akomadan, says Alaji Baumia. And EC presents certified voters register to parties. And we have no constitutional crisis, says Gbagwin. Trump sweeps U.S. elections. And I have interest in our established tomato factory at Akumadan and the EC presenting certified voters register. I don't know if you want me to read a few paragraphs, but then I could, yes, I could just go. I mean, as for the establishment of tomato factory, I remember when Alan Chomantin was Minister for Trade and Industry, we established a tomato factory in Brekum, and that is a blockchain tomato factory. And through the One District, One Factory, and this whole project, I think, started in 2018, about 2019, by the Wadi Africa Tomato Factory. I mean, this actually is no news. What should be news is that the ones that are established already should be made to work properly for Ghanaians. Because if Wadi Tomato Factory, it's about it's quite big enough to be able to produce tomato paste and any other tomato-related product that we need. I'm not making an advert for them, but this is a factory that does not need to import anything, any raw material from China whatsoever. Everything they need to be able to make this factory work is right here in Ghana, right. And it was spearheaded by Alan Chomantin. Okay, now the EC presents.
Okay, you have to make this very brief.
Yes, I was at the program yesterday.
Okay, what time did you leave?
I left about 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m.
I understand you waited for about 6 hours.
We sat. They made us sit for 6 hours, wasting productive man time. Now, what happened was this. They presented to candidates, reps, and political parties. They had the external drives that contains the certified register. And issues were raised. The issue that was raised was that, okay, you are giving us this hard disk. Now, what we need is for you to break it down for us. Because it's in public. We do not want to go out there and have issues. So give us the breakdown. Give us the summary of what it contains. You didn't get that? Now, we didn't get that. Okay. Now, what they tell us is that it is not legally mandatory for them to give to us. Then we told them, it's not legally mandatory. Who said that? The commissioners, or the commissioner, because she represents all of them.
Jean Mensah herself?
Yes. Okay. And the question is, the calling of the media, the public, and everybody to witness it, is it backed by law? If it is not, and it's an administrative process, giving to us what we have demanded is an administrative thing. The consultant who is in charge gave us a list, a content list, and he claimed that was a summary. I raised an objection to it. Okay. I said, I was there, I told him, I said, this is a content list. This is not a summary sheet you are giving us.
Yes, hold for me, please. Remy, let's...
Yeah, Sweetie, just before I get my... I mean, this is really important. What happened yesterday was very unfortunate, and I just want to weigh in also on that. I will need a media to... You also have to help, because we're going into an election. Yes, you after all the months of back and forth of accusations of a tainted register, now you finally tell us that you have a clean register. I'm a parliamentary candidate. I don't have a presidential candidate, unfortunately. Nana has. I don't know, for example, I want to know that maybe in Domi Kwabenya, I have maybe, 10,000 registered voters. Because then if you don't give me the breakdown of the regional number, the overall number of votes in the country, the overall number of votes breakdown by region per constituency, on what basis are you then going to conduct this and then declare results? Yeah. You understand? And this is very dangerous precedent. So to have the parties wait for, it's more than 6 hours, because the meeting was called for at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
And so after the back and forth, and then for like 6 hours, when they didn't have the start, and then the parties demanded that they were not going to leave until they gave it to them. They said, okay, wait for us, we're going to work on it and bring it. And Jamaica comes back around 11:41 to tell them that she's not mandated to do that. How can you come and do this? And it's very dangerous, and I mean, it's not, we should not keep quiet. We need to really speak and ensure that we need this register, because we have no evidence even that what you've given us, I have no idea whether what Movement for Change got is the same as what I got. So if they scrutinize their register and later come and say that my register has 18 million, PPP says I have 14, NDC says something else, we have no standard figure from you to guide us. And it will be like we are just...
My question then would be, moving forward, what do you expect from the EC?
They just need to give us... If you are telling us this is the final register, it's clean, everything is done. So tell us how many registered voters there are, and give us a breakdown. You're refusing to do it.
But Ben, just to ask you the same question. I saw your cameras there. I saw a reporter there. All right. Now, was your reporter able to tell you that the EC presented the certified voters register, and so today, as it stands in Ghana, we have 5, 2, 3, 4, 10 million registered Ghanaian voters? Were your reporters able to tell you how many males, how many females are in that register? Were they able to tell you the regional breakdowns? And
today is the 7th. We're a month away from...
We are not even... The Constitution says, the CI talks about 21 days or so to the elections. I don't know why the EC is rushing to give us what they are giving us. It is okay. The objections that were raised were legitimate.
Okay.
Very legitimate.
So I was just asking, we have to go, but what do you want from the EC now on the back of these?
Yes, we need them to give us the statistics, assure the whole country that, because he's also done a press and assure the country that you have finalized your register, you've given it to us.
It is finished.
But we don't have the details.
Quick question, so does all of this pose a threat to election 2024?
It does, Benjamin. Like I said, how can we go into an election when political parties...
That is the fundamental document we are walking
into. The true reflection of the register.
It poses a threat.
It does. We ought to be able to know. And as you were saying, you've given me a disk, all right, a hard drive to go. You've given PPP a hard drive to go. You've given CPP a hard drive to go. We do not know the content. You did it in public. The whole Ghana was watching. Somebody sent me a video of Joy News showing it live. Now everybody knows that Nana Ohininto, myself, represented Alan Tremantin. We took it. We go and it's about maybe 14 million registered voters in there. We raise a question. All right, then you come to tell us, no, that was not what was.
Okay, so
CPP is saying same, NDC is saying a different thing, NPP is saying a different thing.
So information sharing is still
a problem. Critical.
All right, we'll address that.
Opaque process.
I'm going to, are you done with your papers?
No, let me just briefly.
So you can just give us headlines.
Sure, I have here the business analysts. IEA slams the Bank of Ghana over gold coin, demands permanent solutions to CD instability. Inflation hits 22.1% in October. And then the Power and Energy Ghana Expo kicks off. And a Reuters report saying that cocoa farmers in Ghana hoard beans in anticipation of price hikes. Yeah.
All right. I'll also leave you with my headlines. That's all time will allow us to do. The Ghanaian Times, you're undermining Parliament. Bagbin accuses executive judicial arms of government. U.S. elections, Trump makes sweeping comeback as the U.S. vows to deepen relations with Ghana regardless of polls outcome. That was Virginia Palmer, the American ambassador, who spoke to the issue, saying that regardless of who won, they were still going to deepen involvement with Ghana. Then there's our complete PTC interchange Takoradi Market Circle project before I leave office. That's according to President Akufo-Addo. And he explained that the recent restructuring of Ghana's debts affected the two significant projects in the Western region, but assured that arrangements were on course for the resumption of works to ensure full completion. Then, next NDC government to construct bridge over River Oti. That's according to Mahama. He said the construction of the over 500-meter bridge would ease the daily transportation hustle of residents in and around the river. And I think there's a final headline I wanted to look at. I don't know where that is. Let me see whether I can find it. Well, inflation, of course, inching up, but there was something else I saw that I wanted to bring in very briefly. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Ah, yes, it's on the back page. I now remember. Ghana launches 2 sickle cell policies in Accra, and I feel this is, those who suffer, or if you've been close to anyone who suffers from sickle cell disease, it can be ugly. The impact on organs and all of that. So this is something laudable. That's it from my end. We have to go, gentlemen. Any final thoughts?
Yes.
Brief, very brief. 20
No.
seconds.
This is just something very brief. Alan is in the north. Alan is in the north. We've taken their campaign trail to northern region. And just as we did in Greater Accra, we're going to paint the entire of northern region yellow. And this is just to send a signal that it is not only in the Ashanti region or the Greater Accra region we are sweeping votes. We are sweeping votes in the north. And as the Dagumbes will say, you know, the Asieho, vote the Asieho, you could say it in Dagmane. It says that Dehem Gwendema. And I know a lot of Northerners are watching, a lot of Dagumba people are watching, my friends and family. Dehem Gwenne.
Dehem Gwenne.
Oh, Charlie, I don't know what kind of.
So the Yellow Brigade is coming.
Yes, we are there already. We are there.
The Yellow Brigade, right? Okay.
The Yellow Army.
The Yellow Army. Really?
Yes. So to my campaign, yes, Domi Kobenya, I'm number 4 on the ballot, and the campaign office is at Musuku Junction. We need volunteers. We need support. We encourage us people who want to see real change, real leadership. For Domi Kobenya in Parliament to swing by, offer their support. If you see anywhere my posters are, the phone number is on it, give us a call. Send us a momo to support the campaign, the young men who are helping, working house to house. And we are very sure we'll deliver our mandates.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations. This is belated, but congratulations to Dr. Godwin Setchofia Tukpei, Managing Director of the Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, on earning your doctoral degree. Your doctorate. Your achievement inspires us all, and we at the Cosmopolitan Health Insurance are proud and excited for future successes under your leadership. And it's from the staff of the Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, celebrating you, Dr. Godwin Setchofia Tukpei, Managing Director. So congratulations to you, sir. Those who joined us for the conversation this morning, Nana Yausapon is political assistant to Alan Chermating. We also had Remy Edmondson, National Secretary of the PPP. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
us.
It's time now for sports. Do stay. We'll be right back.